like these people should be hurt or this individual should be hurt. I'm not saying that I support hate, but people have a right.
So if a white man walked up to you and said, "Hey, get out the way," you support that?
Welcome back to another video, guys, and I hope you're all doing well. The First Amendment in the US protects the freedom of speech, which basically allows you to express your opinions however way you wish. Now, I posted a video a few days ago, Piers Morgan, Rabbi Shmuley, Unholy Shmuley and Myron, regarding issues around Palestine, Gaza and Israel. However, there was a second part to that video which I find just as interesting, and it was around freedom of speech, and that conversation mainly involved Choke No Joke and Myron and a third panel member. Choke No Joke, he obviously thinks a line needs to be drawn somewhere when it comes to freedom of speech. Myron, on the other hand, says and states that he promotes all forms of freedom of speech. In my opinion, that can cause a lot of problems, and I do agree on this occasion what Choke No Joke says. I don't know him personally. I've not watched his videos. I don't know what he stands for. I don't know what he preaches. But he made a very good point, as you've just seen in that first clip. If somebody approached you in the streets and called that specific panel member a certain word, how would you react? And of course, that panel member changed his position and said, well, of course, that may end up in some form of violence. And that same opinion probably stands for myself and you guys watching. If people on the streets approached me or you and made remarks regarding our skin colors or our appearance, I'm sure that respect for freedom of speech would be thrown out of the window. It's an interesting conversation. I'd be very interested to know your thoughts and your opinions on what you think. Watch the clips, watch the video, and let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Okay, let me go to Choke No Joke. Hang on. Choke No Joke, be waiting very patiently. Look, you can see how quickly this escalates into a lot of ad hominem attacks. What do you feel?
I would like to say,
yeah.
First, let's. I'm sorry. What's your brother? The brother name Marvin? Myron? What's your name?
Myron.
Myron, brother, please. We're on the world stage, man. You know, I don't know if you're African American or I see you colored. I don't know if you Black, African American, but brother, please. Because one, we're talking about race.
Idea's not race. Idea's not race.
Hold on, brother. We're talking about race. We're talking about racism here, right? Now, if Pierce went on X and said black people should be hung by trees and whipped, right? Would you not think that we would not have the same feeling that the Jewish community is having right now with Kanye making these types of tweets?
You know what? I wouldn't really care if Pierce said that, because I would say it's the freedom of speech. He could say that if he wants. I might not like it, but again,
my question to you is, as black people, would we be offended as the Jewish community people would be offended right now?
Here's what I'm trying to say. Feelings, dude. Nobody cares. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. I don't care how you feel. You need to allow people to say what they want to say. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Okay.
But
here's the problem. Hang on. Here's the problem I have with this. Is that Zuby has very clearly drawn a line, right? Zuby, I know from interview. Hang on. Zuby has always passionately defended free speech, as indeed have I. But like me, he draws a clear line when people are inciting violence. There is no doubt that is what Kanye West was doing. And the only member of the panel who has not denounced that is you, Myron. And I'm baffled why you can't draw a line that is drawn by your own First Amendment.
Again, because I have the common sense to realize that he's not talking about really beating women. It's a joke. He's been making tweets trolling the whole day.
Brother, how do you know it's a joke? How do you know it's a joke?
It's very obvious a joke.
Can I finish my point?
Have you asked him?
Can I finish my point?
Have you asked him if it's a joke?
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. First of all, brother, listen. Brother, listen. You said, right, that it can be dark humor. You said it's common sense. Everybody don't have common sense. Kanye has fans that will do and follow whatever he does. right? I've seen his career go from the beginning up to now. I've seen people being influenced by him. I've seen people dress like him. I've seen people talk like him. So if he's influencing these hatred things, talking about he's Yadolf Hitler and influencing his audience to hate Jews, influencing his audience to disrespect women, to influence young black men to have their women walk around naked. He has that influence, brother. So when you say, oh, it's just common sense, it's just dark humor, you're saying that because you lived a little to learn, to know. The youth, the young black men, they don't know. Like they thought in hip hop, dudes was really killing and shooting and stuff. And they thought that these people were real gangsters. That birthed the drill music. Because when they found out this guy was a wankster, he wasn't real, they had to go and shoot and kill first, then go to the studio. So it has influence, brother. Yeah. And you breaking my heart because I watch you sometimes. And I didn't know that you would be, you're not ignorant, but what you're saying is pure ignorance right now. Everybody know my Instagram is real choke, no joke, right? I get censored for just telling the truth, being a strong heterosexual man, and I'm censored. What Kanye doing is not freedom of speech, it's hate. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a very interesting point, because a lot of people get suspended for far less than what Kanye said. Zuby, again, I want to bring you back in here. Some people say, look, the best sunlight, and you know, the sunlight can sometimes be the best disinfectant. In other words, you let someone like Kanye spew his vile garbage, and actually the court of public opinion sees him for what he is, and that settles the matter. I got to say, I'm more with choke, no joke, that of the 32 million people that follow Kanye on X until he disconnected himself, you know, you just don't know how many might have an impression from him that they then want to follow. You just don't know, because they're not all smart people. A lot of people might be easily led down a horrible line of anti-Semitism or whatever it may be because their hero Kanye has said this. What do you feel about the sunlight disinfectant argument?
Yeah, look, I like to know who people are. It's part of why I like freedom of speech. You know, right here, we've got a lot of passionate people on this panel right here. There's people out there in the world who like some of us and who don't like some of us, right? I think every single person on this panel has said things in the past that people would have liked to cancel them for, ban them for, censor them for, and so on. So personally, when it comes to the concept of hate, people are allowed to be haters. People can be hateful. And I support free speech when it comes to people being hateful. I'm like, cool. Like, it doesn't mean I like what they're saying, but they have a right to say it. If someone wants to be nasty about white people, nasty about black people, nasty about Jewish people, nasty about whoever, Arabs, any ethnicity or race, I don't support that. I don't think it's good. But if you're calling, as I said before, if you're calling for violence, or if you're, you know, really, that's my line. That's my line. If you're saying like these people should be hurt or this individual should be hurt, I'm not saying that I support hate, but people have a right.
So if a white man walked up to you and said, "Hey, get out the way," you support that?
I support his right to say it, and he can deal with the consequences.
And you don't feel no way about it. You're just going to go.
What are the consequences? You said he can deal with the consequences. But Zuby, for you, what would the consequences be?
I'm not going to call the police on him.
Okay.
It could get physical.
Pierce.
In the same way, if someone goes up to someone and insults someone's mother,
one of the most. Wait a second, Rabbi Shmuley. Wait a second, Rabbi. Everyone, wait. I'm interested in Zuby's response to that. If somebody came up and abused you like that, what you're saying, I think, is that you would deal with it how you want to deal with it.
Exactly. Look, there are all sorts of things. Look, we're all grown men here. We all know that if you go up to a man and you just start insulting him, insulting his sister, insulting his family, calling him names or whatever, we all know that could result in physical violence. It doesn't mean that you're going to run away and you're going to call the police and say that, you know, he was being hateful and so on. And people insult each other all the time, online, offline. There's all sorts of nastiness that exists in the world, and I'm not trying to police it all. When it comes to the concept of freedom of speech, as I said, to me, the line is not hatred. Hatred is extraordinarily subjective. And even when it's clear, people have a right to be hateful. But if people are going to make threats against individuals, or you're going to call on an audience and tell them, hey, get that person, do this thing to that person, go hurt that person, then to me, that is absolutely crossing a line. And that's even why in the First Amendment in the USA, which is the strongest protection of freedom of speech, they recognize incitement to violence.
Yes,
so
they do.
To me, the concept of hate and incitement to violence, those are two different categories.